Hey, welcome to After Hours, I guess, special report. I'm going to do a commentary because I'm just now listening to the Carl Nelson and Mark Anaheim interview from basically yesterday. And this is basically 1 hour, 8 minutes, 12 seconds into it. All right. And they already have some sort of technical difficulties. Oh, my God. Oh, this show is so crazy, man. I mean, we're gonna have to deal with this for just a second. There's I believe they just got a caller named Abdullah from LA on, and then everything just went to shit, you know. I mean, I guess I could technically go to that part, but this thing should pick up around about, hold on. I don't want to.
So I just want to say this, Mr. Nelson, because I know Abdul had this question, and we got to move on to some other callers. Folks,
hold on.
I will never tell you not to vote. But what I will say to you is this. You have to start.
Starting at.
Yes, I can hear you now.
Why, Mr. Nelson, let me ask you a question. Now, you and I have been doing radio shows since 1992. Do you realize in 26 years, I think I can count on two hands the number of shows you and I have done where I say something where we didn't get disconnected.
Okay. We're going to do.
And this is why I don't, folks, this is why I don't do radio shows, because when I do radio shows, no.
Hold on. I want to talk about that, reasonable dude. That's a great question. We got to look at the Civil War not in like this a one-dimensional aspect. You know, there's troops on the ground, there's people fucking shooting up. No. There's things that have been occurring behind the scenes. All right, for goodness sakes, they've just passed redlining again and basically validating white-only deeds as far as certain homes in these United States of America. Or you can also look at the marijuana laws, which we did get correct here. We had Karen Chester on earlier tonight about, potential taking folks' guns, if they're in possession of marijuana, because it's still a federal crime. You cannot have marijuana and guns in the same location. So it's still not a good thing. So the real thing is we got to focus on, reasonable dude, is the Article 5 Constitutional Convention, where the federal government, as we know it for all intents and purposes, is dissolved. The states go, all the power goes back to the states. The states formulate a new, basically, federal government, and that's the Civil War. That will be the final birth of it. That will be the final realization. Now, the contingency plan on that, if that doesn't occur, or simultaneously in tandem with it, is boom, the EPM or the EP or EMP pulse goes off, the electricity goes down. Check this out. Like, we're doing the show right now, right? Boom, everything goes out. Like, boom, it's like done. And now we're literally in this state where we're like, fucking around. Hold on. I got a lighter, man. I see you, bro. All right? Let's not get this fucked up. This is the reality. We lose the electricity. We lose the money. Count the money. We lose this. And unfortunately, we lose apparently our own very humanity, it seems like in many cases. But let me get back to this right here. I want to break down, because what he's talking about is what I've been trying to hint to you all for like the past month. Is really awesome.
Now, my telephone and my internet is going to be screwed up for the next 6 months. I wish I was making this up. So I just wanted to say this, Mr. Nelson, because I know Abdul had this question, and we got to move on to some other callers. Folks, I will never tell you not to vote. But what I will say to you is this. You have to start preparing now already for the election in 2020.
You got it.
Because it's going to be here a lot sooner than you realize. So before we lose our connection again, we go to our next break, I'll just say this. I know a lot of you folks are trying to reach me. You can reach me at Mark from Anaheim, Political Sarcasm 101. I will tell you, I haven't been ignoring you, but because I do radio shows with Mr. Nelson,
Right.
they attack me on the internet.
Right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, I'll let you give out that information. We'll see Abdul for us right here on FM 95.9 and AM 1450 WOL, where information is power.
Now, I'm doing this as commentary.
Folks, I guess this Mark Menenheim.
I'm doing this as commentary, so this is why I can legally do this, you know. What he was just talking about, you guys have seen that happen to me, all right? I feel bad. I feel like, really, I knew I was being monitored or whatever, but it's just like when I had Wayne Madison on, it like sealed the deal. You know, all of a sudden, like, not only all my tech affected, it seems like anybody I reached out to, and I was like, that has really put a hampering on me wanting to contact people. I don't want to be like some dirty, you know, phone call. Hey, how you doing? And all of a sudden, your phone's like click, 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 and it's like, it's just not right. Because I'm a patriotic guy. I really do believe that we are all stronger together. I truly, if I was going to war right now, tonight, I would want you, Reasonable Dude, you, Albert, and you, Kronos, right here, packing armed to the teeth, and we're going to make a go at a new civilization or a continuation of freedom. And all the other friends I have all around the world, I really will want that. But, you know, once again, let's go to the show and see what happens.
To speak to Mark is 800-450-7866.
I don't mind.
Let's see if Abdul's still with us on line one calling from LA. Abdul, you there?
Yeah, I'm here, Mark. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
You know, I definitely agree with Mark in terms of the economy being overstretched. But one of the other things that the sister called in earlier about, she called in about Zygmunt Brzezinski, who was the advisor to Obama.
Correct.
His book is called The Grand Chessboard. If she wants
The Grand Chessboard, yeah. Brzezinski's book. I wonder if it's like, you know, Atlas Shrugged or any of these other. When you really look at the works, all it's basically saying is, you know, you're basically the god of your own universe type nonsense. But it's effective because the people who truly understand it and internalize it, they go on to do great things. They really, really do. But a lot of people who fake the funk in that aspect, they end up being frauds and they degrade the organization as a whole.
if she wants to do some in-depth research on that. And he's a slick one, so she can do that research there.
Well, also remember now, Brzezinski was the advisor to Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
Tech of the new way. Yeah, I mean, I know all about Brzezinski, and of course his daughter does, news shows.
Yeah. So it's a mixed bag, and I agree with Mark, specifically in terms of the Senate. I mean,
I'm sorry, I can't let this go, Albert. About the algorithm thing, this is the real fear I think I've been wrestling with. This reality, and this isn't speculation, this isn't fantasy, that you can literally design a hypersonic drone, pack it full of deadly ass nerve agents, launch it from any type of little fishing, disposable fishing boat, or even perhaps some sort of submersible vehicle, kill all those innocent people, and they do it over and over again. That's the biggest fear. Because think about it, who you took out the loot. You don't need a pilot. You don't need some fancy dancy airport. Hell, we already know about the narco subs that they were making way back in the late 90s, early 2000s to smuggle cocaine. Now, if you're motivated to smuggle cocaine to manufacture a damn submarine in the middle of a fucking jungle, I think they'll say motherfuckers should be motivated if given the proper knowledge and access to the proper technology, any vehicle they need. A lot of Yoda folks don't realize there were like a series of cartoons back in the day. It was called anime or whatever. Basically Chinese, or not Chinese, but Japanese or Korean graphics. But the subject matter were always like European aristocracy or whatnot. All right. Well, the whole thing about it was that they get technology. You have these peasants, and then you have the lords. It's like kings and queens again. Well, that's what we're fast approaching. Let's go back to this.
We talk about the House and the noise and the record that's gonna come out of there, you know, but the Senate is the final destination. They control all things in terms of federal funding, everything, federal judges, the whole nine. So I mean, you know, we just got another part of the show that's gonna be as convoluted as it's been all the time. And that's about it. Thank you a lot, Mark. And my father was in the Marine Corps, brother, for 32 years.
Happy Marine Corps birthday to your father, in memory of your father.
Yes, yes, sir.
All right.
Thank you, brother. You have a good day. Keep moving.
You too, sir.
All right, thanks, Abdul. Mark, you want to respond to anything he said?
I just wanted to say, no, I mean, the brother covered it, but the thing is, I just wanted to say, because I know you listen, please I beg forgiveness, okay? I did a radio show with Mr. Nelson, and then shortly thereafter, like an idiot, I did a radio show with somebody else, and I paid for it because I've come on.
No. Oh my God, man. That was the bit, dude. I wish I was in here for the. When I heard that bit right there, I was like, oh, fuck, dude. You know, I mean, hold on. I think it should be about right there, I think.
I know all about presenting, and of course his daughter does, you know, news show.
But,
so,
hold on.
So it's a mixed bag, and I agree with Mark, specifically in terms of the Senate. I mean, we talk about the House and the noise and the record that's gonna come out of there, you know, but the Senate is the final destination. They control all things in terms of federal funding, everything, federal judges, the whole nine. So I mean, you know, we just got another part of the show that's gonna be as convoluted as it's been all the time. And that's about it. Thank you a lot, Mark. And my father was in the Marine Corps, brother, for 32 years.
You know, that's awesome.
In memory of your father.
Yes, yes, sir.
All right.
Thank you, brother. You have a good day. Keep moving.
You too, sir.
All right, thanks, Abdul. Mark, you want to respond to anything he said?
I just wanted to say, no, I mean, the brother covered it, but the thing is, I just want to say, because I know you listen, please I beg forgiveness, okay? I did a radio show with Mr. Nelson, and then shortly thereafter, like an idiot, I did a radio show with...
Now, look, he did not technically do a radio show. That was poor judgment on this guy's part. To be totally honest, you know. But I'm glad I did in hindsight, because we hit some really hard questions. But I want to jump forward real quick to this really interesting part.
Has already come out and publicly stated he is going to support this new presidential leader in Brazil 110%. And do you know who they're killing left and right down there with impunity in broad daylight, Mr. Nelson? You hear nothing about it?
For us?
Folks who look like you and I.
That's why I'm sad that the show dynamics couldn't complement that message. Because that's what we should be talking about. Fuck the funny shit or all that, but people are literally dying, man. Humans, people who deserve to grow old with their children and their loved ones are being pieced out by design. And we're not talking let's give them some vaccines or some drugs, but no, just piece the fuck out. And no one talks about that. Do this research. Look what happened to the dynamics of South American countries after World War II, after the fall of the Third Reich. And then do some research about who was running those particular territories, because many of them were just that, in like the 20s and 30s, and then look at it from the 50s. You're gonna see a pattern. And in the 70s, it's obvious. I mean, come on, dude. They what was that? Nicaragua. Oh my God, there was a famous documentary about all these missing young activists that were basically pieced out, done, mass grave, the whole 9 yards. Where do you think these people got these techniques from? On a localized level, not like the national. Oh, you just put them on box cars and send them to the ovens. I ain't talking about that level. I'm talking about bloop, bloop. Oh, get in the back of the car. Whoop, whoop. Gone. Some warehouse somewhere. Probably tortured on. That's where they can perfect those deadly arts. Because once again, the people who were running that action already knew about the Chinese technology thing. All right. And when I'm talking about China, please hear me. I'm talking about more than just their colonization tendencies or their authoritarianism. I'm talking about what happens if these fools actually build a robot that doesn't fucking fall apart and the AI falls apart and starts killing all of us, all humans. With the same matter, we could do that. The Russians could do that. Israel could potentially do that. Because you watch the next Art of War, instead of it being the chariots or, tons of planes and bombers, it's going to be fucking bombs that are supersonic. It's going to be drones that are supersonic. It's going to be drones that don't need fuel, so there's no range limitation. It will be this guy's, playing a video. Hey, I see him kill him. Boop, boop. That's why I tell everybody, get those, and this will only help you if you have time to actually prepare like a little nest or something. But the thermal blankets, you get thermal blankets, Gorilla Tape, you have to use Gorilla Tape, unfortunately. It takes too weak for this application. Put it on the inside of your enclosure or the inside of your clothes, actually, if you want to move about for some unknown reason. And it will help hide your heat signature to a certain degree. Of course, you'll still have high spots around your eyes and potential mouth or face if you leave it open, or hands. I guess it's better than nothing. Maybe you look like a, mouse or something. Maybe just make a pattern of an owl or something on your face. Oh, it's just an owl. But I do implore you guys, research wild boar hunting, Texas at night. Dude, this is just fucked up, man. I mean, Steve Hindy and Shark should be on this one. These cats are just like, doo, 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 pop, pop, pop. And you just, I know they're killing coyotes or else they're killing wild boars, pigs. But that's what I'm saying. These are just civilian folks. You think you're going up against the military. This is why I always want to stress this. Because I don't want people to fall prey to emotional situations, because there's going to be some situations coming our way that our emotional response will be elicited. But listen, the people in our armed forces are some good folks. I believe personally they'll never turn on us in any way, shape, or form, because they understand freedom is not free, and they sacrifice what they do so that once they're out, they will be free, just as their fellow citizens are free while they're in service to our collective freedom. Now, a lot of you guys will be like, oh, that's not, no. That's exactly what it is to true patriots and people who get that. But our real enemy is a subversive element within our corporate and political world that seeks to unravel us legally using laws and binding us to, I say, our draconian regulations by their designs, not ours. Freedom, listen, it should work like this. The U.S. citizen should understand the concept of freedom, first and foremost. Therefore, when we go to the polls, do that bit, we elect candidates that share that basic state of mind. Now, we break it all down to certain key issues or hot button issues. But if we look at the landscape as a whole, you can definitely see hills and valleys versus a nice grassy plain. You vote like that, but we don't have those options. That's the only bad thing about it. You'll have bumpy roads over here, and then you have nuclear holocaust wasteland over here. So that's why I understand why people are like, or is voting even real? Blah, blah. I get it. But that's a retarded concern. The reality is, if you don't have freedom in your heart, you don't have freedom in your lifestyle, whether you vote or not, it's irrelevant. The government has a purpose and a true function. I'll be the first to admit that. It really does. As much as it pains me to understand that we as human beings will never fulfill that application of a proper government, because we're just not just on the whole. That's across the board. People are just not right for the most part. I mean, come on. Should I go through news story after news story after news story? This teacher, the priest, the marine, the generals, the officers, all of this depravity. See, to me, if you're truly free, you should be able to have the ability or capacity to walk away from all that nonsense and not have to put up with it, because if you don't, you won't eat. That's fucking bananas. But that's the world in which you inhabit. So do I. So how are we going to fix this, gang? There's only 3 logical ways we can look at it. 1, some sort of, insurrection. 2, vote candidates into office that could actually bring about the correct change. Or 3, do absolutely nothing and let the train just run its course. If you're in a good carriage, stick to the carriage. If you're not in a good carriage, you all die regardless. And that's what's so crazy. I want to get back to this here, but when I look at some of the shows, the other morning shows, and with special reports, not so much with special reports, but definitely with the other morning show, some of the things I literally talk about, it's literally in the news the next day. Literally. Even when, we had on Judge, and he was talking about there was an issue about the correct gun, the AR-15 and the shotgun. And the shotgun does do incredible amount of damage. Well, boom. The next, 3 days later, some whack job went out and did what he did. And it's like, I understand words have an effect. Truly, I do. But I also understand that saying these words will also have an effect. I guess if there is some sort of time loop going on, I'm going to be the guy that keeps on having to say what's right, man, because you should not be, I'm 100% liberal, I'm 100% conservative. You're just 100% full. It's a mixture of both. It always has been and always will be. I think a lot of our laws are too personable. I think we should really enforce the corporate laws, meaning that you can't make defective products. You can't build homes that are cave in on people. You should not manufacture cars and planes that break down and blow up in the air. All right, I'm all cool with that. I'm just not cool with you have to have a certain, really, you have to have a certain political ideology or religious point of view or carry yourself in a certain way to even try to agree. Steve Harvey is a well-known paid fool. Oh, God, yes. Unfortunately. You know. Howard, sir. The truth has a way of causing ripples, no matter if you try to avoid it or not. Absolutely. We're beyond this point. We've been beyond this point the moment many of us were conceived on this earth in our mother's womb. This thing that's coming our way has been brewing for thousands of years. For those who don't know, haven't really kept, and I kept them on this before I had to take a break this week. We had another prophecy fulfilled in Israel, the serpent coming from the wall, the red heifer. All right, I know the mission to get the Caliph popping, who could ultimately turn out to be who? Drum roll, kinsman redeemer. They make room for the temple. The economic collapse happens at that moment. No, actually, it should happen 7 years prior to that moment. So, or not 7 years, but 42 months. But there's a lot of numbers and shit involved. I'm kind of tired. I can't really quote it all. I should be writing all this shit down that I learned, but no, sometimes, gosh. But the thing is, I believe in the afterlife. I know there's something more to this. I know there's something more to all of you. You know, and I know that there's really is only humans here because I don't pay for robots. So I think we haven't given a proper care to realize that many of us, I hate to say it like this, but today it only gets more technical. The world's going to be more technologically advanced tomorrow, quite literally. The day after that, quite literally. And it's going to become more apparent as time goes on. Literally, when you go through a town or some sort of vending area, and it's all robots, you know, shopkeepers, whatever. It's going to be I think it'll actually be an awesome world to live in. But get your pictures living in that world with bigots and haters and all that twistedness. The Bible says if God doesn't stop this, knows nobody will survive. Well, yeah, it's definitely going to be stopped. And that's the, look.
Powering off.
We're going, oh, damn. We're going back to the whole Inquisition state of affairs. We already seen what happens when people are held to the task of the law by fire and by sword. And it really wasn't a good PR campaign. You know, think about it. Time travel was possible, right? And they had different packages. You know, you can go on the ancient, you know, Egypt package or, you know, the ancient Chinese package. Let's see. Never mind. But, you know, whatever. Many people will be like, yeah, I want to go to that ancient fucking Spanish Inquisition package. Most people are not going to be down with that. Man, I'm glad to be back on too, Cobra, man. I'm just, I'm trying to do my thing, you know what I mean? And that's where we're at. So if we don't get back to where we need to be, no, we are not going to get back to where we need to be while I've been talking with. Now, that's wishful thinking. No, I unfortunately, that's my mortal mind thinking and wishing this is where we could be collectively. I know spiritually speaking, we're exactly where we need to be. Exactly.